Picture this, the early 1940s, the European theater, fog rolling off across the airbase. Teams of young men, well, boys really, making their way towards airplanes just like these, getting ready to fire up the 4 1,200 horsepower engines to take a mission, knowing full well there's a good chance they won't be returning from. And if they do make it back, the odds are the guys they played poker with last night won't be joining them for the game.
Here we go, boys.
During the Second World War, the sky became a battlefield as fighter planes, transports, and bombers filled the blue yonder over the European and Asian theaters. The B-52 and B-24 bombers would unload thousands of pounds of explosives at a time, leveling anything below. While the B-17 was known as a precision bomber, with her crew of 10 armed with 13 50 caliber machine guns mounted on her nose, top, side, belly, and tail, flew through flak and fighting off Zeros to land a bomb on the enemy's front door. These young heroes were flying for one thing: 25 missions and the opportunity to go home. Now, although 25 doesn't seem like a lot, think about the fact that 40,000 air crew members were lost during the war. And between 1942 and 1943, it was nearly statistically impossible to survive 25 missions.
You had about a 1 in 5 chance of coming back from the war. We've met lots of guys that they were the sole survivor on their aircraft, and that crew had only seen half a mission.
Between 1935 and 1945, there were over 12,000 B-17s produced. And although the lost at war numbers were high, less than 100 still survive today, and only 12 stretch their wings and pierce the sky. One B-17 that still flies missions of the historical kind is the Madras Maiden. And thanks to the Liberty Foundation, the Tyler's Travels team had the opportunity to take to the air and fly into history. After the safety briefing and working our way through the narrow, and I do mean narrow confines to our seats, 4,800 horsepower propulsion was fired up, followed immediately by wheels up from Owens Field. As soon as we crossed over the WWII, we got the thumbs up, meaning we could take an in-air tour of this airplane. The nose, although the best visual in the house, doesn't take much to imagine it was also the most terrifying. Think about focusing on the precise place to drop a bomb, all the while watching the enemy Zeros coming in. We walked or slid past the bomber doors that would be opened when the target had been locked in and into the midsection, where gunners would provide what protection they could to the rest of the crew and, of course, the formation. Yes, we were in a flying museum and, yes, relatively safe over the skies of Columbia, South Carolina, but we needed little imagination to see the sheer bravery it took for these boys to give everything they had for freedom in the most stress-induced conditions. As fast as we left Owens Field, we got the order to return to our seats, leaving only a few moments into this snapshot of history, bravery, and heroism, and of course, a time for maybe just one more shot out the window. We returned from 1943 to 2017 with a newfound respect for these heroes of the greatest generation.